construction company awarded $57 million contract by NASA. In an effort to fill this need, NASA has contracted with Icon, a leading provider of advanced construction technology best known for its 3D printed homes, for a $57.2 million project to create a construction methods for the construction of infrastructures. This will include things such as landing pads, habitats, and roads on the moon. The agreement is valid through 2028. Welcome to Salty Space. In today's video, we are going to see the contract by NASA. Why is it worth $57 million? What does the contract entail? Watch the whole video to know more about the details. Icon, a Texas-based company, has received $57.2 million from NASA for its Project Olympus, which aims to create technology that would enable humans to establish colonies on moons and Mars using locally accessible dirt and rock. Project Olympus has been a focus of Icon, which is best known for its 3D printed homes. The US Air Force gave the business a $14.55 million initial SBIR grant in October of 2020. The project will continue thanks to these most recent funding for at least a few more years before the contract is valid until 2028. We're going to need robust, resilient, and broadly capable systems that can use the local resources of the moon and other planetary bodies, Icon co-founder and CEO Jason Bollard said in a statement on November 29th. He also said, quote, "To change the space exploration paradigm from there to and back again to there to stay, we're going to need those systems," end quote. Icon will collaborate with NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center on the Moon to Mars Planetary Automated Construction Technologies project as per the conditions of this agreement. To create building techniques that will perform best in the moon's chilly, low-gravity atmosphere, the company intends to experiment with specimens of lunar regolith and launch its gear and software into space. The corporation is not only interested in habitats, it is also considering landing pads and other infrastructures to support ongoing lunar exploration. Icon is a leader in the use of cutting-edge building technology on Earth. For instance, the business constructed the first 3D printed home in the US with all the necessary permits in 2018, and since then has delivered entire towns of them in both the US and Mexico. The business began Project Olympus in 2020, believing that its technology may aid in the construction of vital infrastructures such as highways, homes, and landing pads on the moon and Mars. NASA will employ Mars Dune Alpha, a simulated 3D printed red planet habitat, which Icon has already created a prototype to prepare personnel for extended missions. The recently announced NASA contract, awarded through the organization's Small Business Innovation Research Program, would aid in the company's technological and operational development. According to the company executives, Icon intends to utilize the funding to study how lunar dirt, or regolith, reacts in lunar gravity using both real and fake samples returned by the Apollo missions. The fact that NASA is interested in lunar construction technologies is not surprising, given that the space agency's Artemis program aims to create a long-lasting human presence on and around the moon by the end of the 2020s. On November 16th, Artemis 1 was launched and it carried an unmanned Orion spacecraft to lunar orbit. On December 11th, Orion is scheduled to return to Earth through an ocean splashdown. Icon intends to build its moon habitat utilizing local resources, including regolith and minerals found on the moon, adhering to the living off the land philosophy. By 2025, NASA hopes to send astronauts back to the moon as part of the Artemis mission. The Space Launch System, the space agency's massive moon rocket, successfully completed its first test mission in mid-November, and the unmanned Orion spacecraft is now orbiting the moon. NASA astronauts will fly on the spaceship in 2024 if Orion makes its anticipated December homecoming. Icon has previously 3D built Mars Dune Alpha, a 1,700 square foot replica of the Martian dwelling, as part of its collaboration with NASA. Using as little building material as feasible will save NASA from having to launch large payloads to the moon or Mars. Beginning the next year, the space agency will be using Mars Dune Alpha to train astronaut teams for one-year missions. Icon co-founder and CEO Jason Bollard said in a statement, quote, "We're thrilled that our research and engineering to date has proven that such systems are indeed feasible, and we look forward to now making that possibility a reality." End quote. The first building constructed by humans on an alien planet will be contract's final deliverable, which will be a noteworthy accomplishment. Icon will be using lunar regolith samples returned from the Apollo missions to develop the building technologies required for the moon. The business will fly a lunar gravity simulation to test its hardware and software. These trials on Earth should help Icon's 3D building technology while designating extraterrestrial structures for lunar settlers. According to the statement, the new prize will support ICON's Olympus construction system, which is designed to exploit resources on the Moon and Mars as building materials. ICON will launch its technology using a lunar gravitational simulation flight. In order to better understand how lunar regolith, a layer that debris covering the Moon's surface, behaves in a simulated lunar gravity, the company will also use samples of lunar regolith. The technology, according to ICON, quote, will assist construct the fundamental infrastructure necessary for a sustained lunar industry, including, eventually, longer-term lunar colonization, end quote. Under the Moon to Mars Planetary Autonomous Construction Technologies Initiative of NASA's Space Technology Mission Directorate, ICON will collaborate with the Marshall Space Flight Center. ICON's commercial endeavors and its engagement with NASA will both grow as a result of the award. For the NASA Crew Health and Performance Analog Expedition in 2023, ICON 3D printed the Mars Dune Alpha. As part of its plan to send men to the Moon again and eventually to Mars, NASA is also considering how to establish a permanent presence in space and on the Moon. Therefore, creating technology on the Moon is a crucial step towards achieving that aim. NASA's Artemis program aims to establish a long-term presence on the Moon and use it as an outpost for missions to Mars and other distant locations. Nikki Verkaiser, Director of Technology Maturation in NASA's Space Technology Mission Directorate, said in a statement, quote, "In order to explore other worlds, we need inventive new technologies adapted to their environments and our exploration goals," end quote. The contract is based on ICON's Project Olympus, a hypothetical space-based construction system that would employ lunar building materials such as boulders and regolith to construct buildings. ICON is renowned for its 3D construction technologies on Earth and built the first 3D printed homes in the United States. Additionally, she thinks that advancing this project with the assistance of NASA's business partners will produce the necessary capabilities for upcoming missions. The Orion spacecraft, which is traveling farther into space than a vessel built for humans has ever gone, was successfully tested by NASA earlier this month. Priority must be given to take initiatives like ICON that investigate safe planetary bodily settlement. According to ICON, Project Olympus aims to enable longer-term lunar occupancy, which necessitates the creation of dependable shielding against radiation, meteorites, and hazardous heat variations. ICON adds a wealth of experience in Earthside advanced building systems to their project, including the projects from the US military soldier housing program and fully 3D built residences. ICON claims that the business is also developing a whole neighborhood of 3D printed homes near Austin in Texas. With that, we come to the end of today's video. So this video clears all of your doubts about the Moon Construction Company being awarded by NASA. If you enjoyed the video, share and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Hit the bell icon to also never miss another video upload, and also watch some other videos from our playlist, and we'll see you in the next video.